it's your business to live in whatever world you want to.
Nothing will come of nothing, speak again. Nothing will come of nothing, speak again.
It is more than fashionable. It is inculcated by our great universities, who believe there is such a thing as psychology, which is different from sociology, and such a thing as anthropology, which is different from both, and such a thing as aesthetics or art criticism, which is different from both, all three, all four, whatever, and that the world is made of separable items of knowledge in which, if you were a student, you could be examined by a series of disconnected questions called true or false quizzes, quiz bits, as you might say. And the first point I want to get over to you is that the world is not like that at all, or let us be more polite. The world in which I live is not like that at all. And as to you, it's your business to live in whatever world you want to.
Nothing will come of nothing, speak again.
There were societies where people had different names in the summer and winter. They would just become different people. They would have different relations with each other.
Right.
Yeah. So people, rather than they being sort of in this benighted primitive haze where they couldn't even imagine living in any other way, they were totally self-conscious and were playing around with different social forms in a way much more radical than anything we do.
Yeah, you're not really allowed to change your name now.
No.
I mean, even on Facebook, they're trying to stop you from doing that.
Yeah, you can't change your identity, but this is the one where everybody has to change their identity for 6 months of the year.
Right.
Yeah, and you just go back and forth. So people were keenly aware, and it seems like because of that ability to move back and forth, people had a lot more control over what they did. My favorite example, Stonehenge. This is really interesting. Recent research on Stonehenge has been revealing that there are quite extraordinary things going on. They appear to have had kings, some kind of royal court, but that royal court probably only existed for a few months of the year. Otherwise, they dispersed into bands where they gathered hazelnuts. They weren't even farmers, they had domestic animals. So what kind of king is only king for a few months of the year? Not when they're actually around Stonehenge. And otherwise, it's like wandering around with like 15 people gathering nuts. But they're kind of play kings almost. Kind of reminds you of all these sort of folkloric festivals where they have a king for a day or a king for May or Midsummer, Yuletide kings. Well, it seems to have been something like that, a little more extended. But those kings were able to do stuff because then it turns out that actually the people who built Stonehenge had been farmers. In fact, everyone in what is now the British Isles had adopted agriculture. They did it for a while, and they all stopped. And then went back to gathering hazelnuts again. They decided, cereal farming, not worth it. They kind of understood where it would go, the economic and political consequences, made a collective decision to stop, which apparently happened across the British Islands, which were coordinated somehow, because Stonehenge is all over rocks from different parts of the country, right? So these kings or queens or whatever they had there, on the one hand, they only held court for a few months and otherwise were just like ordinary people. But on the other hand, they were able to coordinate decisions across the entire British Islands. Or somebody did. For example, to do things so fundamental as to stop doing agriculture.
Yeah. And so, there's a sort of mystery about how they did that.
No, who knows?
And why were you talking about that? That was to do with...
Well, it's to do with political power. That the political power in many societies is kind of theatrical. It's something that's created. It doesn't, have the ability to impose things on people. There's no signs that these guys had an army that could, come and say, "Hey, you're doing agriculture." They were facilitators of these collective decisions.
It doesn't sound like they had a big fight over the decision making.
No, it's just a crazy thing. How do you do that over such a large area?
And yet we fight over these sites.
Yeah, like Brexit. Oh my God, we're practically killing each other. We're enough from the police.